don't quite have the updated intro yet, but that's the best I could give you. I'm reporting live from the Everton hospitality box. Goodison's right in the background. Can you believe I've actually made it to hospitality for once in my life? No, that's a joke. But we have some people who actually are at hospitality right now. Look at these fine folks. Let me see if we could get Ryan up here. I'm not sure how his Wi-Fi is, but we're trying to get...
I did say this in advance, and I thought
Hang
if
on.
you need a lift, you would.
Ryan, we're on live, mate.
I really don't. There might be. I don't know.
Let's see if he realizes we're live.
Yeah, there might be.
Ryan. That's the best start possible. All right, we'll get to Ryan in a bit. Excuse me. Almost better, I thought. Still sick, but we're getting there. Hang on. Let's see if he's actually here this time. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. How's it going?
Not too bad. Are you pretending you're in the boardroom?
Are you pretending you're in the box?
We're actually in a box.
Look at these lovely people. Can you believe it? How's it? What's up, mate? How we feeling?
Yeah, go on.
If you want to ask me for the team news, I'll give you it here. I'll shut off the press.
All right, go on. What do we have before I look it up?
Quite literally, actually. Hang on. Jeff, what's the Everton team today?
Oh, the Everton team today, mate, is Jordan Pickford in goal, James Tarkowski, Michael Keane, Dwight McNeil, Amadou Onana, Damari Gray, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Alexander Iwobi, Ben Godfrey, Seamus Coleman, and Idrissa Gana Gueye.
And over to our correspondent here, Amy. Team news reaction unchanged.
Completely the same team as the past few weeks, so I'm equally as nervous and excited as per usual.
More importantly,
in your box at home, love.
Very thank you. I'm doing great. My wine doesn't exactly look as good as yours, but you know it is what it is.
That's Chris, not in his box, in his boxers.
Very possibly. That's on our premium.
The once upon a time Everton.
That's behind the paywall. Can you hear? Okay, Ryan.
Say again.
Can you hear us? Okay, over there.
Yeah, it's not too. Expect big things from us in terms of being able to hear you, but I can confirm we are actually in the corporate box today, and this is not too bad.
No, it's a pretty decent view, I must say. How's the food?
It's gone off, I think, probably. Doesn't like it.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi over there is kind of rough.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. I think it's a little bit patchy on your end.
Yeah.
This is why you're not on the channel.
All right, I'm gonna take Ryan off just for a bit. I want to go over the team news. Okay, so as he mentioned, we have gotten team news has just come in, same formation as we had, or sorry, same staff or players as we had the last few weeks. On the bench, we've got Mikalenko, Mope Davies, not much new there. Mina, Connor Cody, James Garner, Ellis Sims, exactly the same bench. Not really much expected differently. Obviously, the general hope is we would have loved to see Dominic Calvert-Lewin in some form or capacity, but again, we haven't really expected that. Eugene, David, the Blues, Emma, Mr. Blue Skies, Peter Duggan, Rotors. It's good to see everybody over there in the comments. I've tried to ask, how's the food? It's gone off. Maybe that means it was really good. I have no idea. Yeah, that was about as solid timing as I could ask for. How do we feel, boys and girls? Do we like that lineup? We said all week we expect exactly the same. Sean Dyche is very much and if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of person, and I really don't disagree. I think our attack has been more than up for it, especially in the first halves in most of these games, with the exception of Chelsea in the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I'm very okay with it. I know we need to put balls in the back of the net. I think we did that against Brentford and certainly could have had more. People forget that we did have a second goal chalked off, and if you've watched our shows earlier this week, I've touched on that more than once. So I feel good about today. To be fair, on match days, I always feel good and always think we're going to win, at about an hour before the game. I'm sitting here 5-0, we'll be fine. But I felt good about this game for a while, given Spurs' recent form and their blatant inconsistency, especially on the away end. And of course, if you're an Everton supporter, all you're saying is, yeah, but they're going to find a worldie against us. Yeah, trust me. We've seen that. Leicester earlier this year points to a good one in the sense of finding a goal when you need to. But I'm going to try and stay optimistic and positive about tonight. I really do think we find a result. I think it'll be 1-0, just because that's how Everton tend to do things. I would kill for a 2-0 win. Wouldn't that be nice if this team actually put a game to bed? Spurs lineup. That's actually a great question, Dave. Let me find that very quickly. Talk amongst yourselves as usual as I search for this. But my guess is that they're not going to have a Richarlison. By the way, I don't know if you saw Richarlison's latest story, basically all about Everton, which I love so much. All right, get this shared screen real quick. I have Spurs lineup here. If I could get this on screen, I will put it there. If this is, let me make sure that this is recent actually, because to my knowledge, I thought it was going to be Fraser Forster. But I guess not. Hugo Lloris is back on defense. I for some reason I thought he was injured for a little bit longer than that, so this is going to be interesting. Romero on defense, Eric Dyer, Lenglet, Pedro Porro, Pierre-Emile Højbjerg in the midfield, Oliver Skip. Perisic is playing today, so we weren't sure if he was going to, but he is fit apparently. And then Kulusevski, Kane, and Son, which was to be expected. Not sure if they're going to be running a 4-3-3, 4-4-2, or what it's going to look like, how much of an attacking player Kulusevski is going to be. But that's interesting. Richarlison not in the squad. Dan Juma on the bench as per usual. He pretty much signed up for a season ticket there. And then a few others on the bench. That's not really, I guess, relevant as much as the starting lineup. Perisic in there, again, a little bit of a surprise, but I'm okay with it. It's really going to come down to whether we can take the attack.
Look at our very special mascot today. Can you see him, Chris?
No.
The poor lad who Jordan Pickford was with. Do you remember?
Oh, Harry. Very good.
There he is on the touchline.
Look at that. Absolutely brilliant.
Can you see him down there? You might want to remove the banner of the Tottenham.
Hang on one sec, boys and girls.
There he is. Young lad down there.
Very good. Have a day, young lad. Oh, hey, he might need to take a penalty for us later.
Say again?
He might need to take a penalty for us later.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that video, boys and girls, check that out on YouTube and Twitter. Everton Football Club. Harry's a young lad who's gone through a lot in life, to say the least, and got to meet his hero Jordan Pickford a couple of weeks ago, and most of the team. Take some penalties, play some goalkeeper. Really a fantastic video, and if it doesn't bring a tear to your eye, there must be something wrong with you. And today he's gotten to be on the pitch at Goodison Park, and hopefully he can inspire this team to a little bit of fight, which I do expect. I think we're going to bring it to Tottenham tonight. Obviously, a couple of natural pessimists over there, just because they've seen. Listen, we've watched Everton for a long time. We can see a game like this going south very quick. I just think it's one of those where under the lights, Everton are going to bring it tonight, knowing it's not their season on the line, but we're getting very, very close. Every game is as massive as it gets, especially with a couple of teams picking up wins this past weekend. We do start the day in the bottom three, unfortunately. I don't like to put too much stock into that, given how many games are left, but the visual is the visual, and the fact of the matter is we are in 18th. So let's just hope for the best. We have, if the Wi-Fi is working, Ryan, let's get score predictions from everybody.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. I want to keep the Wi-Fi connection stable, but can you hear me clearly here now?
I can hear you fine. The visual's not as good. If you actually want to turn your, if you want to turn the picture off, that might help.
Well, here at the Stake Box, Goodison Park, to watch Everton versus Tottenham Hotspur. Teams are unchanged, and I do think it'll be a 2-1 Everton win. Amadou Onana signed my program before. Alex Iwobi and Damari Gray also came over and signed a few of the people in the box's program, a few of the team's program. So I'm going with Alex Iwobi to get the cross into Onana from a corner, and that'll be Everton's first goal. Then I've got Harry Kane, he'll equalise from the spot before Damari Gray, who also signed the autograph for us, gets the winner. That's what I think will happen based on my good luck charm here today. You can also see who I'm with. Before I let you get on with this stream, you have Jeff in the corner. There's Jeff.
We can't Ryan, the video's not working. I can only hear you.
Jeff, you're live on YouTube. The Wi-Fi connection's finally stable. There's Fazul. Mabsy's there as well. He's a bit pissed. Mabsy?
Well, at least we got a little picture
Very
now.
quickly, just say hello to the Follow Everton team.
Hi, team. Right, Domino. Up the Everton Toffees. Come on, don't win tonight.
Come on, lads, get in there.
And Basil, so have you got anything you want to ask me before I let you get on with it?
Really just, I mean, how much fun are you guys having? It seems like the booze was flowing for a while, which is fantastic. I'm sure you guys are having quite a day out, but how much fun is it actually? Like, how does it, I know all jokes aside, we're in the box. Obviously, it's a good view, but are you guys feeling it right here in the heart or what?
To be honest with you, you're so overwhelmed when you walk in that you don't actually sit down and realize that it's a free bar and you can sit and you're getting a meal. You kind of get overwhelmed by the fact that players are walking in, they wave at you and you're very close to them. So when you get past that, you actually realize you're going to get fed and the food is about to be served. And I'm going to go in and have my sea bass. Listen, we're not in corporate. It's a free channel. This was a gift, but we'll see you soon. I'll leave you with the very capable Chris and I'll try and get back on before he finishes.
Cheers, mate. Enjoy it. We'll chat
Good
soon.
fun.
Okay?
Thanks, Chris.
Up the Toffees. Cheers, Ryan. Good stuff. How is that? I'm feeling about as jealous as possible over here right now. I can put all the pretend, but what I should have done is ordered some fancy, takeaway or some sort of catering just to kind of play the part, but that's okay. I'm not feeling too freaking sick to do that right now anyway. It's not about me though. What it is about today is Everton. Just before Ryan popped back on, we talked about how I'm feeling a little bit confident. I've been feeling confident for about 3 weeks, particularly about this fixture. Yes, I know it's been a while since we beat Spurs in front of fans. I think we've said for a few weeks now, if we can stop putting a name to the opponent, probably since the derby, actually, if we can stop putting a name to the opponent, we'll be so much better because it almost feels like there's this little bit of intimidation factor. I don't want to admit that, but it's not a fun thing to say, but it's just the truth. We walked into Anfield, and just because the team on the other side was Liverpool and where we were, it almost like we weren't up for that game. Now, then we have a game against Arsenal and a game against Brentford at home, and it's just like an entirely different animal. Arsenal were top of the league. I want to say when we played Brentford, they were 6th, and I think they're 7th now. I'd have to go look at the table. Whatever the case is, they're clearly top half. I'm not concerned about where Tottenham is in the table, but I hope Everton aren't either, because if once they get in their heads, it's all over, and God forbid if Tottenham score first. And I know we came back twice against Chelsea, but we also saw what happened against Villa. We also saw what happened against Arsenal. We've seen this. If Tottenham score first, what is the reaction going to be? Hopefully it doesn't happen at all, and hopefully the 1-0, 2-0 prediction, whatever the case, comes through. But there's a lot of scenarios that could happen in this game, and we can feel as good as we want. But until they get on the pitch, we're not really going to know. Hoping for the best, though. Hoping we come out and just score in 40 seconds again. That was pretty fun last time, wasn't it? Bill Kenwright at the game tonight. Yeah, good shout, Eugene. I'm sure he's just chilling out in the box. Wouldn't that be something if he actually did show up, though? Of all the times, of all the good times, too soon? I don't know. Chris Peacock, what channel do you watch the game on over there? That's about as ironic of a question as possible. Your surname is our network over here. We have it on Peacock. I think actually it might be on, if it's a national television game, it's on USA Network. But for most of the games, they're on the Peacock Network, which is the NBC Sports streaming service. Now, I will say it is pretty cool being over here for Premier League season because we get every single game on television, no matter the time, no matter the date, which I didn't even realize until a couple of years ago that was not the case overseas, which I still think is mad. The NFL over here is a bit of the same thing. They do have a package you can sign up for to get all the games no matter what, but it's hundreds of dollars. But the fact that that's not even available at all in Britain, I know you have BT Sport and Sky and all these packages, Amazon Prime, whatever the case, but the fact that there's still games that are actually impossible to get no matter what, that's madness to me. But it is what it is, the day and age we live in. MSNBC Peacock, close, not MSNBC. That's a different network. But the NBC Universal family of networks. So you're on the right track, Kevo. I'll give you a point. If we went to the judges on a game show, I'd give you the point. Went down twice against Chelsea and clawed it back. Absolutely. But I'm sure you can vouch for this, Tommy. I don't want to go down again because that was about as nervy as it gets. I'm glad we clawed the point away in that one, though. Everton 2, Spurs 1, Keane equalizer. Decore winner. So Spurs score first, and then Keno gets the equalizer, Mr. Blue Skies. I like it. I almost had a wager on 2-1 today just because everyone kept saying it, but I'm sticking with 1-0. It's just the home formula that wins. The 1-0 is just going to be starting. It's going to be called the Deitch here in a few weeks soon. Sad to admit, but we need to hope their world-class goal scorers don't turn up. I'm not saying you're wrong, the Blues, because if you look back, yes, Arsenal weren't playing their 100% top form, best game of the year when they played us. But at the same time, the reason they weren't playing so great is because we took it to them. So, yes, it would help if their goal scorers were off their game, but I think if we take the attack to them, that gets in their heads. People forget that all of these players are Premier League footballers, and what I mean by that is no matter how good or bad you are, if you're getting the attack taken to you by the opposition, you're in your own head at that point. So yeah, Everton can get down on themselves, but let's not forget, this is Spurs. This is the team that's dropped points on the away side most of the season. They can get down on themselves as well. They're not top of the league. They're not, Champions League winners. They're not defending champions. This is Tottenham Hotspur. They're not exactly the best in the world. And listen, let me be very clear. I'm not pretending like we are. All I'm saying is let's not give them too much respect, because that's where we're going to falter. And honestly, that's what I've been afraid of for a while. To me, that's one of the only scenarios where things are going to end up negative. If we sit back, give them the respect that they don't deserve, and all of a sudden we're made to pay for that. Spurs are now 5th in the table, as that's what I thought. They were top 4 for a while. Top 4 when the weekend started, and then with the Newcastle win over Man United yesterday, Newcastle have jumped both Man United and Tottenham into 3rd place. Get the table up here so you fine folks can see what I'm looking at. If you will give me 1 second, there we go. Arsenal remain top on an 8-point lead. Man City with a big win over Liverpool. Both of those scores actually ended 4-1. Arsenal over Leeds, Man City over Liverpool. Excuse me, Newcastle over Man United 2-0, which, by the way, I nailed that prediction. As I said before that match, it was going to be an exact reverse of the FA Cup, or the League Cup final, I should say. And it was a revenge game, and sure enough, it did end 2-0. So of all the ones I should have put a wager on, that might have been the one. Tim Howard, legend, my guy. That's one of the main reasons I got into Everton Football Club back in the day. Ryan touched on the other day how Frank Lampard broke his heart in 2009. Tim Howard against United in 2009 was pretty much the reason I jumped on Everton Football Club. So we're talking 14 years ago now, because back then, I mean, I didn't have a Prem team. I'm a young kid, and the U.S. national team is a huge deal over here, or at least it was. Probably it's still a big deal, but I think back then it might have been a little bit bigger. But Tim Howard was the legend. He was our guy. And then, of course, with Landon Donovan playing at Everton as well, that just kind of made it easier. But then you start learning about the club and the people and the history, and now here we are, miserable every week. I mean that joking, of course, kind of. Only games O'Hara involved around the Super Six. Yeah, buddy, no kidding. I've seen it myself. I do get to Liverpool for about half of the season, usually 2 or 3 times for about 5 or 6 weeks on end. Rather not go down at all, but Chelsea game was completely different in terms of mentality. We went down, so there's a hope in a worst-case scenario. I agree with that, actually. If there's anything we can take, it's the optimism that if we go down, we won't just fold. That's a big deal, especially this late in the season, especially in a relegation scrap. What that shows is we're up for it. And up until Palace last season, we really didn't show that in terms of once we conceded first. Maybe even with the exception of Burnley, because to be fair, we conceded first and early against Burnley and then took a 2-1 lead on 2 penalties. I don't even want to talk about the end of that one. I was at that game, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. There were no words said on the way back to Liverpool. That was the first day I actually accepted last season that we might go down. Luckily, it didn't happen, but that was one of the worst days I've experienced as an Everton fan. Everton will be 13th in 90 minutes. That's what I'm talking about, Kevo. Get in there, mates. Need to get off the starting blocks from first minute, Chris. We owe Son some tears after his Gomez tackle. You know what? I almost made a joke yesterday about whose leg he's gonna break next. I think it's shocking that just gets forgotten. I don't know what to make of. I'm not gonna sit on here and go viral by saying he's a bad person or anything like that. For such a horrific challenge to just basically get swept under the rug and no one talks about it. I guess it's just different for some people. I have no idea. A further look at the table while we count down until kickoff here. We've got Brentford on 7th, Liverpool on 8th, top 4 for Liverpool, pretty much out of it after they lose this week. Can we talk? I'm not going to sit up here and harp too much on Liverpool, but to have that sort of shocking away form for a squad that's supposed to have all these world-class players is kind of ridiculous, especially given how their home form hasn't been this season what it always has been. Everyone wants to point to the 7-0 United game. And did they have a 9-0 win over Bournemouth? That was this season, right? That feels like ages ago. But they haven't run teams off the pitch. I think Leeds got a win at Anfield earlier this season. They've had a few draws that could have gone their way or really could have gone the other way as well. So they haven't been world beaters at all. We all saw how the Champions League went as well. I'm kind of curious what they do. Of course, I mean, for everyone who's calling to sack Klopp, I mean, how interesting would that be? But okay, whatever. I've said enough about Liverpool. There's an Everton channel, for God's sakes. No one here wants to hear that. Villa continue to push up the table, 4 wins from 5. That's an amazing turnaround what Unai Emery has done. And next week's going to be interesting because I think Villa have Leicester. Yes, they do. Next week, that's tomorrow, I should say. I keep forgetting all these midweek games this week, which is going to be huge for the picture of the table. We're going to know so much more come Wednesday night than we do right now. I think there are 4 fixtures tomorrow, maybe 2 or 3 on Wednesday. And then all of a sudden, these games in hand that teams have on us are, for the most part, going to be made up. And Leicester at Villa is a huge one tomorrow. Leicester, of course, without a manager after sacking Brendan Rodgers. I believe Rafa Benitez is the current favorite there. Don't know what to make of that. We all know how we feel about Rafa for the most part. We've got somebody back. Looks like the meal is done. What'd you have for your tea?
Are you there?
Can you hear us? Yeah, what did you have for your tea?
I just want to show you. I've just had something to eat. It was lovely, but look. Hang on. So players are warming up now.
Hang on, let me go to the 2-shot here. Okay, go on. Look at that.
They're warming up. There's the Everton players ahead of today's crunch match against Tottenham Hotspur. You can see the starting 11 are on the left. Oh no, actually it's mixed. It's very mixed. And then you've got the Tottenham section warming up there.
Hey, in the comments section, can we please get the betting on who's going to take their shirt off first in the box?
White. Thumbs up for Graham White, stadium announcer.
Get in there, Graham. Look at that. He's probably like, who is this lad putting me on camera?
Iconic voice. Stadium announcer giving us the thumbs up.
By the way, the betting favorite on who takes their shirt off first is Mabs for sure, with Jeff a close second.
Did you put a bet on, David?
No, they all have the betting slips. Jeff's got the bet on.
What's our bet? Oh, the internet is so terrible over there. We're gonna stick with them just for a bit, though. See if they come back. I love that when Jeff goes places, he just brings his bad internet with him, even though he says he has good internet now. I'll believe it when I see it. They've been drinking for a couple hours as well. I want to say they got to the ground around 5 or maybe half 5. So they've been drinking probably before that as well, and when they got to in the ground. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting night. Don't be surprised if you see all of them on the telecast going insane. And that's what we want, right? Bring the atmosphere. Mark Burton, of course, not that we ever condone breaking anyone's leg, but it's, maybe, whatever. Bournemouth are 1-0 down to Fulham and 1. We need to be like that if we concede first. I mean, yeah, we need to be, but that doesn't mean we will be. But I hope you're right, Mr. Blue. Well, I hope we don't concede first, so I hope you're half right. Hope it doesn't happen, but if we do. Bournemouth, I'm telling you, Mr. Blue Skies, over the last few weeks, Bournemouth have not only looked like a team that just won't take no for an answer, they look like a mid-table team. I mean, they're still not great to watch football-wise, but in terms of a scrappy, just we're not going down team, that's Bournemouth. It's been interesting to watch. It's been, quite frankly, it's been fun to watch just from if you can have a neutral perspective in where we are right now and just appreciate the football. It's been fun to watch, and Bournemouth fans have to be happy with what they're experiencing right now. Even the fact, I understand they gave up that lead against Arsenal. It almost felt like after that one, that might be the wheels falling off. But all they did was respond incredibly with a couple of wins, one over Liverpool. And I mean, let's say they held on to the lead against Arsenal. We have a whole different conversation right now, both at the top and the bottom of the table, but is what it is. Shows value PR. Son is an angel, or Richarlison is the devil in most fans' eyes. Yeah, I don't even want to. It's just stupid beyond belief. The fact that I don't even want to talk about the negativity regarding Richarlison. It's an absolute joke. And yes, I miss Richarlison. It is what it is. Villa are safe. Yeah, I think so too, buddy. Villa not only are safe, Villa are absolutely in the hunt for Europe, and I don't care what anybody says. I know Liverpool have a game in hand, and Brighton have 2 games in hand, and I do think Brighton will secure that 6th spot. But, I mean, Villa are absolutely in it because from the looks of it now, Villa are just going to keep winning. Long way to go. But, I mean, until Villa lose, I'm going to believe that they're going to keep winning, and they look up for it. How's Ryan getting signal at Goodison? He's not. He's certainly not. We made our best effort, but it didn't last very long. Apparently, the team, the Follow Everton crew all have bet slips, but we didn't get their betting favorites tonight. So we'll have to see if he jumps back on and gets us some top betting tips, courtesy of Stake.com. Happy for you guys, but I'm jealous as well. Yeah, you're telling me, buddy. We are at the barcodes, Chris. Top stay on at Goodison Park. We'll see. When the alcohol's flowing, don't put it past Mabsy. That's all I'm saying. It was funny. It was last season. I was at the Manchester United home game. There was one where it was the 1-0 win. And the normal seats I sat in, or would have sat. I actually took someone else's spot in the middle of the park end. Usually I'm on the right side of the park end, right by the away supporters, right? And those seats where I would normally sit had the guy in front of us that was going insane the whole time with his top off when, well, let's just say he hasn't hit the gym in a couple months, right? That's about as diplomatic as I could put it. So, and I'm going to say this, had I been over there in the normal seats, I probably would have been coerced into doing the same. So you might have seen me before you even knew you saw me had that happened, but not to be. Regardless, that was the one where Ronaldo knocked that kid's phone out of his hands. By the way, and if you haven't seen that video, the one that was on Sky and all these networks, who sent that to Twitter and who had all the networks contacting him for that video? Me. Yeah, that was an interesting time because I had never experienced going viral before or anything like that. And all of a sudden, I had to actually turn my phone off because all I was getting was literally hundreds of notifications every second. It was ridiculous. It had something like a couple of million views. I had ESPN, I had Sky, I had BBC, BT, name a network. Every one of them were blowing up my DMs. Hey, can we have permission to use this video? The video's insane. And let me be clear, I didn't post the video to get anybody in trouble per se. I wasn't trying to slander anybody's name. But what happened was Man United put out this ridiculous statement that said, well, we don't know what Ronaldo actually did. We don't know if he actually knocked the kid's phone out of his hand, so we can't punish him. And in my head, I'm thinking, what do you mean you don't know what he did? Yes, you do. You're trying to cover up for him. And I said, okay. I think my quote was something like, in case anyone believes the laughable statement that United put out saying they don't know, check this out. And so I didn't think it was going to go as crazy as it did, but I just wanted to say, listen, I mean, if you don't want to punish him, fine, but don't sit there and say you don't know what he did. He very clearly knocked the kid's phone out of his hand. But anyway, that's what I felt, or it felt like to be a celebrity for about, that was my 15 minutes of fame, I guess. It was kind of funny seeing my Twitter handle all over the telly overseas. Was that my video? So it was actually my partner who took the video, but she didn't want to, because it was her season ticket. And she didn't want to be all on, she wanted her name out in public and all that. And I said, well, shoot, I'll post it. I don't care. And sure enough, yeah. So it was, I mean, I had ownership, if you like, of the video. So yeah, that was mine. And there were a couple other videos on there, but they were like, listen, we have a couple other videos, but yours is the best. And everyone wants to ask if I got paid for the video. No, I didn't, but I think it was one of those where they say, oh, you're an idiot. Why didn't you get paid? Everybody wanted it. Well, I think if I would have come back and said, well, I need to be paid for the video, then they would have been like, okay, forget it. We'll just use another video. I mean, what am I going to ask for? I don't even know how that works. Again, what do I say? I want $1 million quid. I mean, or what do I want? Like 50 quid? I don't know what the price is. I didn't hire an agent fast enough, but all I'll say is it was the same day. That was Grand National Day, if I remember correctly, because I'm sitting in the house that we were staying in. We're all in the family room because we had a pretty big gathering to watch the Grand National. All of a sudden, just buzz. My phone just starts like I remember the moment where it starts to get a little bit of traction, right? Buzz, and all of a sudden, like I can't. My hand is shaking because my phone won't stop vibrating, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on here? And then, sure enough, then the messages start flowing, and it happens so fast. And obviously we're over the moon, just the fact that we won, because at that point, I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure that United win was that right after the Burnley loss? Let me look this up. I want to say it was after a big loss where we thought, that might be it. And so I remember because we were getting great odds to win that game, and I almost put a bet in, and I almost never bet, but I almost put a bet in because I said, we're going to shock the world and beat United because, I mean, United aren't on the best form in the world, and we, I just felt like a game we could win. Yeah, that was right after the Burnley game. That's right. So as soon, after perhaps the worst game of the year in terms of how you felt afterwards, all of a sudden we nick a 1-0 win over United at home. What a weird, stupid season last season was. But yeah, again, can't stress enough. I'm not like anti-Cristiano Ronaldo. It wasn't meant to smear his name through the mud by any means, but I certainly wasn't about to let United get away with this nonsensical statement of we don't know what happened. Yes, you do. You saw what happened. You saw what happened before I even posted any video. He deserved a new phone. Yeah, he probably did. That phone did get smashed, to be fair. 50 quid is good. It would have been good. In hindsight, I would have absolutely taken it. And I would have, let me be clear, had I gotten paid for it, all that would have gone to charity anyway. I'm not trying to profit off of anything like that. Having said that, everybody has a price. Just saying. Not to mention financial fair play would have probably come after me anyway had I made anything off that video just for the shirt I'm wearing. When I watch the match, I'll be looking for the follow Everton team. If we score, it'll be great to see them all celebrate. Yeah, I get a good feeling it's going to get pretty rowdy. I'm curious how much I could see it going a couple of ways. Obviously, Ryan's going to try to have a good time, but I could see him trying to kind of play chaperone and hold some decorum because you'll have Jazzy around, you'll have Jan around, you'll have Mabsy around. Jeff might keep it tame a little bit. Amy will be going nuts. Oh man, Amy and Jazz together. Good Lord, what a disaster that's going to be. So many songs, so many chants at the lads. I'm sure they'll get to know a lot more. If you know, you know. Jan certainly knows. He's sat with Jazz before. I haven't even met Jazz yet, by the way. She sounds lovely. All I've heard is the stories of Jazz in the Upper Bullens and the things that she says. That was the Gordon deflection goal. Yes, it was. Right in front of me. Gordon takes it to the mat. Who laid it off to Gordon? I want to say it was Richarlison, but I'm not sure. And to be fair, Gordon gets a lot of shtick for some of his goals being deflected. I've made it very clear that I'm not on that bandwagon, and I'm not trying to play lawyer defending Anthony Gordon here by any means. But all I'm going to say is, to me, it doesn't matter how the goal goes in. If last season, especially, but I mean, for the first half of this season, we'd have killed for any goals. So if a player is going to have the wherewithal to actually shoot and try to put it on net and it gets deflected and goes in, I'm not going to slag him off for that. And so last season, I certainly commend Gordon for doing that multiple times. Brighton, I think, was another one. In fact, both of his goals against Brighton might have been deflected, if I remember right. Disaster of a game. Went down 3-2. A nonsensical. Calvert-Lewin misses a penalty. I think that was actually the last home game for Rafa Benitez as well. The next one was Norwich, and then he was out the door. Yeah, it still counts exactly. Say what you will about Anthony Gordon, but whatever. I don't really want to spark a debate on Gordon right now. I'm not going to sit here and say that he had a massive role last season, because when he came out and said that, the fans went insane. I will say he played a role last season, and I guess I'll leave it at that. I don't want to get on this road, because everybody's going to start saying a bunch of stuff about Anthony Gordon, and that can take on a mind of its own. We're focused on Spurs today. If it's a goal today, no matter what, I don't care if it deflects off 5 people, it still counts. And we're going to hope for the best on that. 1-0 to Michael Keane. I think it's going to be, it might even be off a corner. Not sure. But Keno gets the goal, 1-0. I don't even know if I still believe it, but I've said it so much over the last 2 weeks that it's in my head as coming true. And it was interesting. I was going to ask Ryan if he had better signal, if he told Amadou Onana everything he's been saying about him for the last few weeks. But my guess is that he bit his tongue on that one. Onana's still a nice lad. I'm sure he's a kid. Best not get into it, Chris. He's going, yeah, no, I know. Trust me. I have a lot to say on the matter, though. I think, okay, what I will say, and this is as far as I'm going to go, I think he gets a little bit too much flack. Now, no, I think the way, I don't agree at all with the way that he left, with the manner in which it happened. Awful, terrible, poor decision. Could not have been a worse look on the player going out from a boyhood club in terms of not turning up to training, basically can't be arsed. I'm not defending that for a second. But pretending like he had no role whatsoever in the past couple of seasons, even going back 3 years ago, is just wrong, in my opinion. I remember the COVID year, seeing Gordon on the pitch under Ancelotti, providing basically the only spark to our attack for a few of those games, because it was almost like we just looked like nobody was up for it. We just looked asleep on the pitch. And he would come in and provide the spark. Now, again, can't stress enough, he said some silly things. I don't condone it all the way he left. There's a lot of things in the negative column. I just think that sometimes people let that kind of overshadow the positive that he did provide. Some of these goals, some of these runs, even some of the missed chances, the fact that the effort was there. This season wasn't the greatest. I was there when he scored against Leeds. I was there when he scored against Brentford. But you can't forget those, because at that point we didn't score a lot of goals. I was also there against Forest, where he turned the ball over about 55 times. So that was about as frustrating as possible. It is what it is. I'm just being honest. Some people might not like my opinion, but that's why it's an opinion. It is what it is. Take it for what you will. 2-1. Come on, you Blues. Who scores? Give me your goal scores. I think Chris should be the new channel host, far more professional and had more knowledge than others. Hey, thanks, buddy. I appreciate that. I do love my team, though. We all provide good insight with each other, and it's nice to bounce ideas and chat off of each other. But I appreciate that very, very much. It's always it's very kind of you. Hope none of y'all get. Let's see. I hope I don't get people crying over him handing a transfer request and not turning over training, because that was better for us as we got more money for him. I don't disagree. I think personally that he was kind of something came out that he was basically forced to hand in a transfer request in, as that made a bit of a different payment, or that did affect the money a little bit. I wonder if that was the only way he was going to get what he wanted, because if he didn't, I think it was one of those where they said we were just going to keep him at the club. But again, that's speculating on what goes on behind the scenes, and we can do that all night, and which we do a lot, especially when it comes to transfer windows and things like that. What a disaster the last transfer window was, and I shudder to think of what the next one's going to be like, because as Ryan said, and as Jan and Amy, we all went through the books, and I don't know where we're going to find any money to spend. So it's going to be very, very interesting for him. Yeah, 45 million, I'll still say, is the heist of the century, because on his current form, and given what he had been doing and saying publicly, the fact that we got 45 million after all of that is crazy. But we found a team that was ready to spend a lot of money. Like, let's be honest, if it wasn't Newcastle or Chelsea, I don't think any other team comes close to that bid, right? I mean, Chelsea, I don't, what was the rumor last season or over the summer, whatever it was, 60 million. I don't know if that, I don't know if that bid was ever going to come to fruition, but then you have to turn around and look, and Todd Boehly, the new owner of Chelsea, I mean, he was ready to spend anything on anybody, right? And so, I mean, while it doesn't really make mathematical sense, at that point, he was literally just throwing money around willy-nilly, no matter, like, anywhere he could, especially on a play like we've seen a lot of crazy things in the last few years. The fact that Cucurella got 60 million quid is, I mean, that's got to be top few of the list in terms of transfer fees, because that almost, I thought that was going to set the transfer market into the stratosphere in terms of what was about to be paid for some of these players. And we know what Enzo Fernandez got, and we know what Mudryk got and all that, but the Cucurella 60 million. I'm sorry, no disrespect to Cucurella. He's not a 60 million quid player or even close to that. So I'm not sure what the actual bid for Gordon was last summer. I know that my speculation is that Lampard was going to veto pretty much any bid, because he was his quote unquote star boy. And Lampard did think that Gordon was one of those guys that we were going to have to keep and build around. But I mean, if a player doesn't want to be here, in my opinion, we don't want him here. That's I still think Richarlison wanted to stay. I don't care what anybody says. Unfortunately, that was forced out for us to still be taking a massive loss. Let's not go to the books. It's only going to make me depressed, and we're only 20 minutes to kick off. I'm trying to keep this positive, ladies and gentlemen. 45 million is a lot for a kid. Is he a kid still? Is he 23? Uh-oh, we got a Stevie G.
Oh, yeah.
Can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, loud and clear.
How are you?
I've got a terrible position here.
That's all right. You're inside, so at least we got decent Wi-Fi signal. As soon as you walk out, it gets horrible.
Absolutely, yeah. What are your thoughts about the game?
I'm feeling okay. I didn't expect a different squad. I'm a little bit surprised that Perisic is playing for Spurs, but other than that, nothing much unexpected. I'm still sticking with 1-0. What's your score prediction?
Yeah, sticking with 1-0. I think Damari Gray's the likely scorer for me. It's going to be tough. Perisic is going to add some additional quality to the Spurs midfield, and of course, when we spoke on the preview, she wanted that, but Spurs on paper, when you look at the team, it's full of quality, and we're going to have our work cut out today. But I think that the home crowd, the atmosphere is building. I think that we've got this chance to get something out of the game with the British crowd.
I think what we all want to know is, how was the food?
Yeah. Okay. So it was a choice between sea bass tandoori and potatoes, or the lamb shank with carrots and associated sides. The sticky toffee pudding was absolutely divine. I wouldn't normally order that. I'm a tiramisu guy. We'll get onto the crisps and biscuits in a minute, but yeah, I know you like your barbecue, but yeah, this was really, really good. The soup was very warming as well, and the alcohol was free flowing. The match is 20 minutes away now, so it's gone really quickly. You get in and think it's going to be miles away kickoff, but it's all approaching now and getting down to business. And fortunately, we have seats outside, so we're going to be able to sample the good atmosphere as well as have this amazing hospitality courtesy of our sponsor, States.com. And yeah, I don't know how much you've seen of the box, but it's really gorgeous.
Look at this. How fantastic is that? I love it. Hey, who do you think we
have?
Oh, look at that. Keano's on there. That's an omen, folks. 1-0, Michael Keane.
Yeah, with Onana's autograph. So Onana puts the ball in, and Keane. Not just Keane. It's Michael Vincent Keane.
Michael Vincent. Michael V. Keane would be his lawyer name, I think.
Michael Vincent.
Why is he
paints-
signing it Michaal Vincent Keane?
He paints sunflowers in his spare time.
Interesting. Hey, I know we know Mabs has been drinking for a couple hours. Do you think there's any he's the current betting favorite for first to take their top off? Do you have any input on that?
We'll be thrown out the box. Max has already spent longer in the box than the Everton squad out this season. But yeah, it's been here. Guinness on tap.
How long have you been waiting to make that joke?
No, I mean I haven't. I prefer my jokes off the cuff, you know.
Oh, okay,
But,
fair enough.
In case you're wondering, no colours are allowed. So that's why I'm only wearing my Everton socks and this plain blue shirt. You're not allowed to wear. There is a dress code, and you have to dress appropriately.
I can actually get on board. I can get on board with that. I'm okay. Look at that. The lovely Amy.
Absolutely.
Keeping it classy as always.
And we're going to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Jan. If you haven't checked his poem out earlier today, it was a belter at Yandolf1 on Twitter. YANN. Hang on.
Hello. How's it going?
It's going, mate. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can absolutely hear you.
Who's your bet on tonight?
Thanks to me. Getting free kits.
Getting free kits.
Free kit. Get in there.
So maybe
Send one over.
Chris, you might be.
I'm
you
a
might be
medium.
getting a free kit.
That's what I like to hear. I thought he said free kick at first. I was about to go get my boots.
Pommel is a quality brand. Yeah. So thank you to Hummel.
Hummel, absolute legends. Let's get Stevie. Get score predictions from everyone there, please.
Score predictions. Out and about. There's only a couple of people here in the box. Ryan's talking to Hummel. Have you got any messages to pass on?
No, just to say thanks very much for everything that's been done for you guys and us and all of that. That's pretty much.
Harry Kane's coming in the box now. Hang on, Harry Kane coming in the box. No, he's not.
That can't be true. Okay,
I got it mixed up with Ryan.
Surely, if he was coming in the box, he had already taken a dive. So.
It's a real good experience being in executive boxes at Everton. I mean, it's the sort of thing I waited all my life to do, and obviously with the fact that we're leaving next year, it's kind of like bittersweet. But I think this is one of the problems that Everton have got, Chris, is that the lack of executive boxes and hospitality income affects matchday revenue quite badly, to the point where Liverpool Town Centre actually has to have a number of hospitality options in hotels that are not, they're still a drive away.
Right, but of course, all that will change at Bramley Moore.
Okay.
I'm trying to stay
Nick
positive.
Lyons is coming out. Thanks, Jeff.
Who's coming
out? Nick Lyons.
Very good.
We'll try and do. I don't know when you're going to go live at halftime, but we'll try and check in and see how things go. And obviously, I said to the boys and girls, it's all downhill from here. We have the warm, sticky toffee pudding, and then the kick-off, and are we chasing shadows? Hopefully, this is going to be one of those famous Goodison nights under the lights. We just don't know it. You really don't know what to expect.
No, but I'm keeping it positive today. I really feel good about it, and I genuinely think we're going to jump on them early. I do. And I think it's going to be one of those that you remember for a while, not just because you're in the box, but because of the performance. I know I'm sounding like cautiously or hopefully optimistic, I should say, but I really think we jump on them early. Hope I'm right. We'll see.
Chris, I'm going to go because Zcars is not far away, but
that sounds good, mate. Yeah, no.
Half time, by the way. And Everton Neapolitan dessert. Whole menu. What are you having?
I wasn't planning on much, but I'm gonna go get something. He's got asked me a question and then leaves. I love it. Regardless, I think everyone's having one of the nights of their life over there we have a private group chat and had a couple emotional posts about, Stevie just said he's been waiting for that his whole life. I know Jan's been saying the same thing. It's just some of these things are life changing, and I think tonight is one of those for these guys. Couldn't be more happy for them. A little bit of jealousy kicking in, but quite honestly, I'm really just happy to see that they're having a good time. Hopefully, I can make it over. Possibly, I was planning on coming over for more fixtures this season, but that won't be in the box, obviously. But hopefully, we can find a way to do it next year. But that was awesome. I'm about to disrupt the football match. God, I hope not. Good Lord, what a disaster that would be. I think the siren's back, Mr. Blue Skies. If they did it that once, I don't see them not doing it again, but we shall see. Do a live at Goodison after the Everton Tottenham. Yeah, I think we'll see. I don't know. My guess is that they're going to leave. I don't plan on going live at halftime. I might ask just to see if they want to, but with the signal being kind of crap like it is, I don't think there's any point. You'd basically just be hearing me saying how I thought of the first half, which I mean I can do, but I think we'll just save that for the post-match reaction. I think that off the top he's get in there. I love that he's like, well, we'll be kicked out of the game. Yes, I know we would be kicked out of the game. That was the joke. I hope I'm joking. Mabs, if you're watching this, don't take your shirt off, you knob. Going through some of these comments. How's the beer? Sorry, I didn't get that, but I'm sure it's fine. I think they were all actually on the wine. I know Emmy had a red, and I think Mabs was drinking white wine over there. Buddy, I hope you're right. Wouldn't that be great? Get in there, Mick Keggers. I don't know what you're getting paid, but earn it, you lad. I would love to see this. I don't know if it's even possible. I mean, I wonder if it's going to be like a terminate his contract thing, because there's no way we can afford to spend we can't really afford to spend anything, but we certainly can't afford to spend anywhere near what a player like Richarlison would go for. Would be curious to see what happens, though. Countdown to kickoff. We're just over 10 minutes away. If you haven't thrown a score prediction in the comments, let's do it right now. I'm going to get all of the score predictions and goal scores on stream. If you put it in the comments right now, give me the score, give me the goal scores. I will put it on stream. What did I say a couple of weeks ago? I said either 2-0 or 2-1. I think it was Brentford when I said 2-1, and I said before the match, I said I want to change it to 1-0, but I'm going to stick with what I said, and sure enough, it ended up 1-0. So I will stick with 1-0 this time. I don't know if it'll be right, but I am saying 1-0. I am going with Michael Keane. Hart says 2-1 Everton. Kane, Gray, Iwobi. Head says 1-1 Kane. Decore scores. Chris, I can actually see 1-1 as well. I want to say the last two at Goodison, maybe even three, had been draws. It was 0-0 last season when we had a penalty called, and then VAR reviewed it and then was taken off, which doesn't surprise me at all. And then that game ended 0-0. Obviously, that would have been a changer. The COVID year was 2-2 at home. I feel like I might be missing one in the middle there, but whatever the case, 2-2 at home. Unfortunately, a couple defensive mistakes, and Kane gets both goals on that one. So hopefully we can find a win. But would you be happy with a draw? My answer is no. I want the win tonight. We're not going to get many home games. We're especially not going to get many with under the lights atmosphere. I want to win tonight. A draw is not going to be sufficient. Obviously, okay, we're down 1-0 on 80 minutes. Yeah, you'll take the draw at that point. But just going into this game, I think we need to win. We have to have the winning mindset. Sounds simple, but that's how it feels. Sparky got my credit. Get in there, Tommy. Sounds good, Kev. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Everton 2, Spurs 0. I said this earlier. I would kill for a 2-0. Wanderlust says 2, Gray and McNeil, and 1 for Harry Kane. Everybody's got Kane on the Spurs side. I wonder if it's going to be a penalty. Damari Gray and Dwight McNeil. Damari Gray is also a popular pick. Come on, you Blues. Get in there, Peter. Yeah, obviously losing would be the worst case. I mean, that goes without saying. But I think that this team are there for the taking, given their recent form. I don't care who their manager is. I think that they are there for the taking. Chris says we should do a watch along. I've thought about this. I don't know if it's something I would want to do. It might be something I give a try to, maybe for a half or something like that. But I feel like it doesn't. I've seen a few of these people do watch alongs, and I feel like it doesn't really give you much. Like yeah, the reactions. Okay, it's a social media age. The reactions can be funny, but you're not I think without the video on screen, it's going to make it a little bit tougher because everybody watching is going to be at different points of the game, right? Some are going to be ahead, some are going to be behind, some will have things spoiled for them, and it's not really much. Like it's almost like if I do a watch along, I would be being like over the top fake just to get like a hard reaction. Like if we score this ridiculous goal, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I don't know if that would be my favorite thing to do. But it's a good shout. I think it could be fun. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'll do it and maybe I'll love it. I have no idea. I'll try almost anything once. Almost. 1-1, Gray and Kane. Going to be interesting. Damari Gray has been playing well. I'm curious to see what point we see Ellis Sims because I would be shocked if we didn't see Ellis Sims today. Let me get the team news pulled up once again. I think I have everybody on the bench in memorized, but just to make sure I don't miss one, I'd be shocked if we did not see Ellis Sims. I'd be shocked if we didn't see one other sub. Other than that, we all know how Deitch is with subs sometimes, so it will depend on the team performance. Obviously, the ones you can point to, Michaelenko, if Godfrey's not performing well on the left side, or if we need some sort of sub. I actually didn't even notice this until just now. I completely missed it. I'm shocked that we don't see Nathan Patterson on the bench. I thought he would at least make the subs, but he's not on the bench. It is Connor Cody. It is Yerry Mina. It is Mason Holgate in terms of defense, and obviously Michaelenko as well. James Garner in the midfield. Again, it's one of those where I want to see James Garner, but if we don't, I wouldn't be surprised, and I don't expect it just because it hasn't happened. Mopé is available as well, but Sims, for me, is going to get the nod over Mopé every time at this point. So, quite frankly, I'm going to be honest, I really hope it doesn't come down to some sort of substitution because I'm a bit worried with how this looks, but is what it is. Not much we can do now except move on. So, I'm going to let you guys go now. We've got 5 minutes until kickoff, and we will be hopefully quite happy human beings after the game. Thanks to everybody for joining. Obviously, when we're doing it, when I'm doing it by myself, it's a little bit tougher, but you guys in the comments make this a joy to do, and you certainly make the show go a little bit easier when I have things to actually respond to. So I appreciate you more than you know. If you haven't liked us already, please do that. Share on Twitter, share wherever else you can share it. Throw us a subscribe and all that good stuff. I will probably not see you at halftime, but just keep a lookout just in case. But in all likelihood, you will see me post-match for the reaction. Win or lose, we still support the Blues. So fingers crossed we come out of this with 3 points. Up the TOFFEES. See you soon, everybody.